Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the main event. You're here with me, Daniel.
And Aaron.
Aaron, good to be back. We've had the international break that no one ever wants. How was your international break?
Well, I actually played. We played football. We both played in the same match. And
Using the
that
term
summed up-
football wild and loose there.
That summed up our
International break. A hefty defeat. It was a good day. It was an even better night. Thanks everyone for turning up to the North Trials for the Game Week 39. It was very, very, very messy afterwards. Some good stories, but what happens in Newcastle stays in Newcastle, unfortunately. So we're going to move on to how our probably even more disastrous game weeks went last week. It was a bit of a wild ride for us both. I feel like there's a story there for both of us. Do you want to start, Aaron? How did you get on?
So it went with me going on this podcast and saying I'm going to sell Haaland. I then did that interview with David Monday, and I also said 100% certainty I am selling Haaland. I stuck to my word. I sold Haaland because I was working when the match day, when the lineup was released, and so I didn't get the notification that he was actually starting. So it wasn't until I got home and realized Haaland had scored that I found that out. That was depressing. But overall, I'm not too mad at my score. I think me and you got similar scores, but obviously you took the hit.
Yes, the hit. Not a -4, Aaron. Not a -8.
Double it.
Not a -12. I took a -16. I cannot remember what mind frame I was in when I did it. I think it was I was at work because obviously I work on Tuesdays as everyone does. And I think it was because the Newcastle game was kicking off at 17:45, wasn't it, on the Tuesday?
Yeah.
And
Good
I was in
24-hour time there.
and I was basically just in a rush to get to the pub to watch that, and I didn't have time to do anything during the day. I don't really have time on a Tuesday because I work in the office generally on a Tuesday, and I mean I can work at home sometimes, and we sort of jump around. But we're all going out after the match together on the Tuesday, so I was in the office. I can't just sit on my phone on Twitter and on everything else all day. And I just think I just got far too excited, and some of the hits paid off. Some of them really didn't pay off at all. And ultimately, I think -4 was probably my sweet spot. I would have had an absolute belter. And where my issues came from, first of all, lies. Lies. There were heavy rumours, even leaked teams for Atletico Madrid that said Jimenez wasn't going to be playing. So I sold him as part of the hit. He got 10 points. That's 14 point swing on that. I got rid of DeMarco. He didn't do anything anyway. But I got rid of Thuram. He started, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you factor in the -4 on top of that, that's 7 points I had to make up because he played, he got a clean sheet, got 3 points. So trying to make up 7 points, disaster. Some moves that did go well for me. I brought in Morata for Osimhen and captained him, so 11 points double. Didn't quite meet Haaland, but he's also a couple of million less than Haaland. I brought in Simmons, who got 8 points, which was good. I brought in Munoz as well, Sociedad's defender. He got 7 points because he got an assist. He was nearly on a big score, but obviously Benfica did get a goal. But one of the issues was I wasn't paying attention. I'd lost all concentration. I was far too excited for the Newcastle Dortmund game. I was going to the pub. I was with my dad. I was out with all my mates from work, all that sort of stuff. And I put in too many Tuesday players, and I thought, well, Lewis does this. Apparently, it doesn't matter. So did it anyway. Got a Wednesday, and I had carryover. I was like, I'm gonna have to not play one player. Anyway, that one player that I didn't play, Basagli, got 9 points. Opposed to Kvaratskhelia, Mendes, who got 2 points and 1 point respectively. I brought in Di Lorenzo for 3 points. I mean, it was just shit, mate. So yeah, I kept Riznik in 6 points, which was good. Then Sommer got 7 points on my bench, so actually 1 point down from that. I got 78 minus 16, and that put me on it says here, it put us on a green arrow, but it didn't. I've got green arrows for all my leagues for last week, but I actually...
I think it goes green arrow from the Tuesday. So I don't think it's a green arrow from the whole match day because
Oh, right, yeah, that makes no sense.
no, because you got loads of Tuesday players, so that wouldn't have happened. That's what
Yeah.
happened to me.
Yeah, I think I think it might have given us what they thought was a green arrow based on my points, but without taking the hit into effect. Not like done my
Well, that'd
overall
be great.
points.
We would all just take hits all the
Yeah,
time.
and just get green arrows. Be dropping in rank, but getting green arrows. But I'm on 367k. This is the worst start I've comfortably ever had to this game. Ever. Even on our like newbie seasons, this is way worse. So don't listen to me.
For me, 76 points. This I did take. I did take a hit. I took a -4.
Did you?
I did. So
Wild.
Haaland coming out was part of that.
No. You took Haaland out as part of a hit. Who were the other players that you brought in?
So I took out Haaland, Galeno, and Dumfries.
Right, Galeno and Dumfries. Did Dumfries start?
No.
That's that. Right. Okay.
He didn't play at all.
Yeah.
For Vinicius Junior, Hakimi, and Xavi Simons. So it worked out. Except for the Hakimi one.
The Hakimi and the Haaland thing, not really.
No.
Essentially, it didn't work. You should have just brought in Xavi Simons for a midfielder for Galeno.
Yeah, pretty much. So Vinicius Junior. So the people that actually made it on: Harry Kane captain, Jimenez for 2 points, Vinicius Junior for 9, Xavi Simons 8. I had Kimmich from a wild card who had 7, Sane 3, Bellingham 0, Bastoni 7, Sommer 7, Hakimi 3, Cancelo 4. And on my bench was all 1 pointers: Aspilicueta, Gordon, and Henriks.
Look at you.
So there's no way I could have. I mean, the most I could have got more was 77 with this current team if I didn't sub on Bellingham.
I know it's all if, buts, and maybes, but if, Aaron, if.
I heard Haaland was starting.
If all's I'd done was Osimhen and Morata, or I probably could have won Osimhen and Haaland. If I'd done that, if I'd went and put Munoz in for DeMarco, put Simmons in for, I think, for Galeno, because Galeno's injured. If I'd made those 3 transfers, only those 3, I would have been comfortable 100 plus club, comfortable, because Jimenez would still have played for 10 points. Boscali would have came in for 9 points. I wouldn't have lost a further 12 points. Yeah, I'm absolutely sick of my life. But moving on to match day 5. Hopefully a little better than last week. And it's time to take risks, I think, Aaron. I think it's time to take risks, mate.
The early kickoffs do not help us out on the Tuesday, though. Potentially one of them.
Shakhtar, Antwerp, and Lazio, Celtic.
Let's just start with the less exciting of the two, Shakhtar and Antwerp. In Shakhtar, are you looking to bring anyone in for this match? Obviously, this is the kind of fixture you would look to target. Obviously, Shakhtar 1-0 win over Barcelona in the last match day, which is a great result. We know that they can kind of pull these kind of results off. So with that in mind, are you looking to bring in any Shakhtar players? I'm assuming you're not bringing in any Antwerp players, but...
No, Antwerp are the biggest avoids. They are the worst team in the competition with Union Berlin, the pair of them. I think Antwerp are worse than Union Berlin. And Union Berlin have a new manager. But I think if you were to bring any in, this is more like wild card people or limitless wild card people, because you're probably going to want to bring in other more important players. But if you've got like a few extra transfers to make, Sudakov 6.5 million midfielder, I think he is. Yeah. In Sikan 5.2 million forward. Both currently on 22 points for the competition. You can go for Rosicki, 4.5 million defender, who's doing quite well. Obviously, we've got Riznik in goal. I do have Riznik in goal.
I don't know.
4 million goalkeeper, still doing well. And they're playing against the worst team in the competition. They're at home. They beat them away. A bit fortuitous, but Antwerp, obviously, as a lot of teams are better at home. But I think Sudakov, 2 9-pointers in a row against Barcelona is, I think, it's a good bet against Antwerp. If I was going to bring anyone in, it would be him, and especially considering he's a midfielder as well.
Yeah, I think that for kind of what the players you mentioned there, but in terms of how the group's looking, Barcelona and Porto are both on 9 points. Shakhtar have 6. Obviously, Barcelona and Porto can't both have 3 points. So Shakhtar would look to win this game to give them a really good chance going up against Porto in the last match day. They've got their destiny in their hands basically because of that result against Barcelona. So you really think that they're going to attack this fixture, and give them a good chance of qualifying into the next round. So
100%. And I think leaning into the next game, I'm hoping that Porto will beat Barcelona, or at least it's a draw. That way, I think Barcelona, Antwerp for the final day. But if Barcelona need to win that game, I think that's a Lewandowski move.
yeah. And then in terms of, I guess we'll stick with that group, Barcelona, Porto. Obviously, it's in Barcelona, but Barcelona have had a few injuries in the international break. Quite important players, despite them being so young. And obviously, it's led into the whole debate whether are these young kids playing way too much football. But I think that's a debate for a different time, not necessarily this episode of the podcast. But obviously, with them really important injuries, a few of their cheaper midfielders may be options. Like the name escapes me now, but I remember the 16-year-old who came on and scored.
Yamal, was it him?
I think so.
The right winger.
Yeah. So I don't know how much he is in the game. Maybe 6 million or something. Means they're less rotation risk because they don't have that many players.
Yeah.
And also the way that Barcelona have kind of done it in the past is they announce who is made it into their Champions League squad for the match day. So we'll be able to kind of know if there's any surprises in there, and we can kind of start to figure out who the starting 11 will be, which is quite handy for an 8 o'clock fixture. But with Barcelona not playing 100% as well as they could at the moment, this could have a Porto upset, kind of what you said, like a draw, and then it's all to play for in match day 6, which is what we're hoping for a fantasy perspective, I guess.
Yeah, and Barcelona drew 1-1 at the weekend against Rio Vallecano, I think. And Jules Koundé didn't start. He was on the bench. He got a 0-pointer against Shakhtar as well. So he's a doubt for actually even playing games at the minute. I don't know what Xavi's doing with his team in terms of the amount of rotation. I never think rotating your back four is a particularly smart idea. You just want them to play together and be all set up. So I think it's about coming away from Barcelona players personally. And actually, on the other side of that coin, I think Evan Nielsen, he got another 2 goals this weekend. He's absolutely flying, and he's Porto's most dangerous player. So I think if you were going to go for someone from this group, other than your Shakhtar midfielder, Sudakov, I think for me, you'd want to go for Evan Nielsen from Porto and probably just avoid Barcelona entirely at this point.
Would you look to transfer ones out? So say, for example, I've got Cancelo.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think if you have Cancelo, he's safer. At least he's going to play. So you can risk it. I have Koundé, and he feels like he's a player that needs to come out now. as much as I don't really want to because they've got Antwerp in the last game, but I've no trust in who's going to be starting these games. I don't know who's playing against Antwerp, so it
And that's
might
a
be
Wednesday fixture in the Matchday 6 as well.
yeah,
It just has rotation all over it.
yeah. Especially if Barcelona win this game. But then if it is rotation all over it, then maybe you want Koundé because he's probably going to come in. I don't like it for
Yeah.
centre backs, for a 5 million centre back. There's better players in this game.
Yeah. In terms of predictions for both of these, Shakhtar, Antwerp,
I think Shakhtar win 2-0.
I was going to go 2-1, and then Barcelona, Porto.
I think Porto will win 2-1.
I was going to go 1-1. That's
Pretty
what I
close,
want to happen.
Yeah, keep it open.
The other one is Group E, so that's the early fixture. Lazio at home to Celtic. Celtic, who can pull off a draw against Atletico Madrid, but then show us their true colours in the reverse.
What
fixture.
a game that was. What a game. That's the game I watched. It was absolutely class. Because they've stopped doing the goal show on BT, I think, or TNT.
Yeah, they've lost some of the rights.
This was the first night really of Champions League football I properly got to like actually stay in and watch because of being in Milan for one of them and then had the PSG ticket, had a Dortmund ticket. So I hadn't really paid too much attention. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'll stay. I was like, where's the goal show? It's like, it doesn't even have
I
it.
don't know. Yeah, it is a shame because I prefer that over watching.
I do as well.
Over watching like just a team pass at the back, and you're like, all right, time to switch over a match.
Yeah.
Like, at least they're bringing it into the important.
And I always miss the goal. I'm like, oh, this game's a bit boring now. Let's switch over.
And then they're celebrating.
And it's because it'll be like some game they'll be winning 2-3-1 or something. You're like, wow, we'll get this game on. Nothing else happens. And then there's a goal in the other game. You've just switched off. That happened with the early kickoff, the Napoli game and the Benfica Sociedad game. I was like, well, I'll watch Napoli just because I've got more of their players. First goal went for Sociedad after minutes. I was like, sod this. I put that game on. And then thankfully I obviously got the goals. And that was a great game, except for Brais Mendes missing that frigging penalty when I brought him in for a hit. And he wasn't even meant to take the bug. Oh, God. Lazio.
Yes. So they lost today 2-1.
Did they? Were they away or
away? We
Makes
know that
sense.
they're a better.
They're a home team. They're a home team.
Yeah. Even though they dominated possession according to the stats, but Immobile was the one who scored from a penalty spot. I think the biggest question mark will be: do we bring him in potentially? Can he get the same sort of output?
Nah.
I don't think many people have a Limitless. Would you bring him in on Limitless?
No. I don't think he's capable.
I think he's a one goal.
I think he's a one goal player, and I don't think he's a player of the match type player either. I think if you're going to bring anyone in, whether you're on probably not if you're on a, well, actually, yeah, if you're on a Limitless, you still want to, I think personally, bring in Providel in goal if you're on a Limitless, or if you're not on a Limitless, Romagnoli at the back, who I'm thinking of bringing in for Jules Koundé. That'll free up another 0.5 million. And I think if I do that, I can then go and grab.
He wasn't in the squad at all on the week today.
Romagnoli, was he not? That's why Aaron's here. Injury?
It's the first I've heard about it. So,
oh goodness me. Well,
I will quickly.
Patrick's 4 million.
2 seconds. You've caught me off guard.
Pants down.
I think people were talking about Kamada before, and obviously he's.
Oh no.
I think people are kind of reliving his Frankfurt.
Yeah,
kind of thing. I think just Lazio in general are just nowhere near as dangerous now that they've sold Milinkovic, Savic, and Luis Alberto's not really playing for them anymore. So according to this, it's always interesting when people go to get the injury information, but he has a calf injury, but it should only well, it just says calf injury. It doesn't say the extent
Yeah.
or what.
Well,
It's very vague.
if that's the issue, if he's not fit, it's not about, oh, I'll just go someone else. If he's not fit, he's an important part of their defense. That's the issue. So if he's not fit, then you actually fancy Furuhashi or someone like that to maybe get a goal, because they do need to be at full strength. So I'll probably keep an eye out on that. But at least, is this one of the games we've got the team news on? Yeah, this
Yeah.
is, isn't it? So if we see the team news and Romanoli's in, I think you can go for Patrick at 4 million, because he'll probably start. Again, you'll see the team news. And with that in mind, with a 4 million defender, that frees up a lot of funds. So if I go Koundé down to him, bank that million, I can then go and grab a premium striker up from Luke de Jong. I can go Luke de Jong and go 3 premiums up front, which is what I'm really feeling at the minute, whether that be to Haaland or Mbappe.
No, I think they're really good shouts. Obviously, the team news would be really important for this one. But in terms of 2 transfers, bringing people in, it is a difficult match to. At least you'll know for certain that these players are definitely playing.
Yes.
So if it comes between, do I pick a 4.5 million defender, Romanoli, for example, or Patrick, and it's like, right, I know he's definitely starting, which will allow me to punt a little bit more on someone else. Like if someone's like a 50-50, then it allows you to be a bit more risky because you do have a little bit of a safety blanket with you. But these fixtures just aren't great early fixtures. That we can. Why don't they put people who play this game who are in charge of this?
But do you not think Lazio is a good fixture for Celtic? Like, sorry, the other way around. Like, Celtic's a good fixture for Lazio if you want to pick Lazio players. Like, Celtic away.
Lazio will win. But I just don't. In terms of fantasy output, I can see this being quite low scoring. And if Romanoli's not playing, then I don't think Lazio keep a clean sheet either. So I was going to go 2-1.
If Romanoli plays, I think it's 2-0 Lazio.
And in that case, you'd probably look to go a defender potentially.
Yeah.
Celtic, anyone tickle your fancy there?
Nah, they drew today. Motherwell got a last minute equaliser, didn't they? So that's a no it's just a no for me. You can't. No, it's just a no.
The other game, obviously Lazio sitting in second. So if they do win this game, they have a really good chance of going up, despite us predicting that.
Otherwise, but I mean, it's tough because obviously the other 2 teams play each other, and then it boils down to that last game. We could put your back as Feyenoord playing Celtic. Your back Feyenoord to beat Celtic, and then
it depends what Atletico Madrid turn up.
Yeah, and it does depend on what Atletico Madrid turn up. Atletico Madrid are currently drawing 0-0 at the moment. Feyenoord won 4-2 today. Jimenez with a hat-trick.
He's a beautiful player, isn't he?
I like Timber with an assist, with a goal and an assist, sorry. Stengs with an assist, and Geordie boy Yakuba Mensah with an assist. So he's looking good. He's got quite a lot of attack returns for them, and he's actually playing quite well, which is exciting for us, especially with how many injuries we have. So it would always be good for a little cheeky recall if we need him. But Santiago Jimenez, some boy. Are we thinking about bringing him in at all?
I've already got him in.
Have you?
Yeah, I've had him in for both games. So
at home to Atletico Madrid, it's away to Celtic, isn't it? That is right. Yeah. I want a bit of that.
I want a bit of that.
I want a bit of that. But I think this week's maybe the
in
problem.
my team.
Yeah, you do not get rid of him. I think this week's maybe the issue in a sense that, like, is Atletico Madrid at home a better fixture than, you know, Mbappe at home or Haaland at home? I think he's at home, isn't he? So, like, I'm not sure, and because we'll all already have other players, but I think if you did want to bring in a budget striker, he is the number 1 pick Jimenez. He
Because there's
just
quite a
scores
lot,
all the time.
7.5, yeah. I think the biggest thing to look at in terms of Atletico Madrid as well is their record in the Champions League when they've been at home. Obviously, Celtic, they beat 6-0, but away they drew 2-2. At home, they won 3-2 to Feyenoord. So even Atletico Madrid at home, 3-2. So Atletico Madrid
Yeah.
concede to this team. But away they drew 1-1 to Lazio. So away from home, they've drew twice. So and conceding in every game except for the Celtic.
Oh, you're doing things to us, Aaron. You're doing things to us. Especially when I've got Morata. And I just think I'm glad I got Morata in. Morata did really well for me.
I could score in both of these games as well.
But let's see, you've got Harry Kane, who scored again at the weekend. And then you've got 2 goals in the last Champions League game. You've got Haaland, you've got Mbappe.
It was a grind to get them 2 goals. I was nervous.
Yeah, but he still got them, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
For me, it's a case I've got Morata, De Jong, and Kane. So obviously De Jong is a player that I'd like to bring out. But if you had unlimited funds, would you pick Jimenez for the last 2 games or Kylian Mbappe for the last 2 games?
Mbappe.
So that's my problem. Harry Kane's playing Copenhagen at home.
Yeah.
Like I have to keep them. So it's essentially is taking Morata out worth a -4 to get Jimenez? The answer is no. No, unfortunately not. But this is one of those where there's too many good forwards on this game, and arguably not enough good players anywhere else.
Yeah.
I think if you want to get in on the Feyenoord bandwagon, on that hype, I think Timber, he's playing really well. Goal and assist at the weekend again. And he's 5 million, but he picks up ball recoveries as well. So for a 5 million midfielder, I think he's probably more favourable than some of the others. I think this is like, who's that? Around 5 million. I appreciate some a little bit less and a little bit more, but you've got Anthony Gordon, Baronetsia. I think there are a couple more, but I was kind of thinking of them off the top of my head. But he seems like a player that could get some attacking returns if you're looking for someone in that price bracket. Like I'd personally, as good as Anthony Gordon was today against a pretty woeful Chelsea team, PSG are a really good home team and we aren't a great away team.
I think there's too many injuries as well.
Yeah,
yeah. And plus Paris Saint-Germain were able to get an extra day's worth of
rest, because the French Football Association let them play on a Friday night.
Yeah, they always do.
Yeah.
They always do. But I think that's a good kind of segue into that match. So we'll go on to the next group, Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle. Although we didn't do our predictions for Feyenoord, so just real quick predictions.
I'm going to go 3-2 Feyenoord,
So
a reverse of the other fixture.
I'll go 3-1.
2
Feyenoord.
Lovely stuff.
I will say Morata scores just for you.
Oh, thanks. You won't. Griezmann will.
And then Lazio, I think, will win 2-0. If
we did Lazio, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've already changed the tune because I said 2-0. Yeah. I hope everyone heard this. I hope everyone understands how it happens now.
Did you not hear me say if Romagnoli?
That's it.
So Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle. Paris Saint-Germain beaten comfortably. They beat comfortably. Sorry, Monaco 5-2. Although it was a closer match than the scoreline gives credit for. Watched the extended highlights in preparation for this podcast.
Look at you.
That's how the detailed research I go to a 5-minute YouTube video. But Cancelo Ramos, Mbappe, penalty, Dembele, great at goal. I don't know if you saw that one.
I've heard Dembele had a very good game.
He did. Vitinha outside the box scored, and then Colomwani.
At the death, wasn't it? He came on as a sub.
Assist. Yeah. So I think it's the same old story of Paris Saint-Germain. You don't really back them to keep a clean sheet.
Definitely not. But this is the thing with Newcastle, right? We obviously
scored. This is the week to do it.
Yeah, we scored 4 goals in a game. and in 3 other games we've not scored. So like this is how it sort of feels being a Newcastle fan at times. It's like we're either not going to score or we're going to score 4 or 5. Scored 4 today, and you're just like, where stop scoring all your goals in one game. Just spread them out a bit, lads. So I think, who knows, it might be that time. We are depleted. It was a tough game today. All Premier League games are. The first half I thought was a bit of a grind at times for us, but the second half were miles better. And Chelsea had 10 men and 2 goals in rapid succession, just absolutely killed the game. So hopefully had a fun time walking around. Kieran Trippier looks like he dislocated his finger.
There's just injuries everywhere, isn't there?
But for PSG, I think Zaire Emery is injured. So he's likely to miss that game. And he was the best player for PSG at St. James's Park. That being said, Kylian Mbappe is Mr. Home. Like, he loves playing home games. He scores like in every home game I've seen him play this year. It's just goals. And as time ticks on, Jamal Lascelles is looking more and more culpable at the back. I know he scored today, great goal. Beyond that, he was not very good. He gave the ball away a lot, gave away silly fouls even when we were about to win the ball. He needs to switch on. He needs to switch back to the Lascelles that played in the home game, because he was absolutely outstanding.
It's almost like now that is like his minutes are secure, but like he needs to play for his position. Like
every week, he needs to, whether Botman's there,
we just need Botman on the bench and
Botman at the back.
Oh yeah,
Isaac in attack.
No, like even if he's not fit, sorry, is what I meant. Like even if he's not fit, he just needs to be on the bench to make Lascelles
stare him out.
To make Lascelles
Terminator.
Yeah. I don't think that Paris Saint-Germain will make the same mistakes that they did.
I agree.
I don't think they'll do 4-2-4.
And there'll be our crowd isn't going to be there either to stifle them. I think if Newcastle get a draw in this game, not only will I be amazed, but I'd be delighted. Absolutely delighted if we got a draw in that game. I think it's proving quite difficult managing the 3 tournaments that we're in at the minute. And the managing, for me, I think the managing way better than I personally expected. To have 4 points in the group of death, and I think the points go 7, 6, 5, 4. To be 6th in the league, but I think we're like 6 points off top or something like that. We're not very far off the top of the league. Or maybe it was before the Arsenal game when I looked at the table. I'm sorry if I've got that a little bit wrong. And then to be in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, beating Man City and Man United, this is amazing. You'd expect a massive drop off. So it's not me obviously being negative or lamenting where we are at all. I just think it's a reality that we are struggling a bit, and we aren't the team to be picking players from this game. Even as unbelievable as Anthony Gordon is, he's not having to play against Chelsea misfits every week in the Champions League. If you want to take a punt on them, it's match day 6 when we're at home to Milan. We'll see how they get on. But for now, stay clear, and I would back PSG. Specifically Mbappe, I still think Ousmane Dembele is too inconsistent. I think Gonzalo Ramos is too inconsistent in that PSG team because he doesn't have his position fixed. And Mawani's obviously... is he going to start? Yeah, does Mawani play this and does Ramos drop to the bench? You don't want that headache. And you're not going for any of their other players. So, yeah, I think Mbappe or bust. But not only that, I think he's actually an exceptional pick. What's the score?
I'll probably say 3-1 to Paris Saint-Germain.
That's exactly.
Because the goals that they conceded at Monaco were goalkeeping errors, both of them.
Yeah.
The second one was a defensive error. So it shows like a lapse of concentration. That's the type of defenses that Isak thrives on.
Yeah.
Just that moment, because he can produce anything from at any time. So yeah, I do think that we'll score, but I think they've learned their lesson. But that goal difference for us could be massive from the first time we played them.
Yeah, just go for a draw. Please just go for a draw. Get a dirty, horrible, scrappy, minging Atletico Madrid style 0-0. take it all day, roll around from the first minute.
Arms,
I don't care.
and I just don't get the accusations of arms in the back of people and
Yeah, none of that nonsense. Push people,
elbow
choke
in
them
the
out.
back of the head.
Yeah, karate chops on back, anything you want, lads. Get stuck in. But remember, if they breathe on you, fall over, hold your shin, hammy's gone, tie your laces, untie your laces, every trick in the book.
Yeah.
Remember to roll off the pitch, always.
So going into the other game, I think Dortmund, their fortune has kind of turned for them, where we were kind of just judging it off the first few games in the group. We were kind of like, oh, Dortmund aren't the same type, like they're not the same team. But then when it came to the match against us, we didn't realize that the match that they lost against Paris Saint-Germain was the only game that they had lost in like 20 something matches at the time, but they've still kind of carried on really good form. They showed their quality against us both games and won 4-2 today. AC Milan have a lot of injury issues. I guess it's their annual injury.
They all want Christmas off, mate. They want to go to the Christmas markets.
Teo Hernandez has scored the penalty for them at this moment in time.
1-0 up at half-time against Fiorentina.
Because their entire front three is injured. Giroud, Leao, and well,
Are they injured for Tuesday? Are they? All three of them? Dortmund.
Well, I say front three are injured. Pulisic is back in today, but he's playing on the left.
And he's bang average anyway.
Yeah, so they're playing.
Sorry, Americans.
Jovic, and they have the potential youngest ever debutant in Serie A history, 15-year-old Camarada on the bench. So, obviously, FPL Rossoneri, Nick, great fan of the podcast. So he's been listening to us for a while. Is a massive fan of him, but he might be actually getting some minutes against Dortmund this week, which shows how desperate they kind of are.
If you're on a limitless, bring in a Dortmund defender and Julian Brandt.
That's what I was legitimately going to say. Like the fact that they got 2 clean sheets against us is we made that keeper look good.
Yes, he's not a good keeper.
No.
Like we come on this, we've been on front. Oh, Corbel, he's a bit weird. Like he's a bit of a dodgy keeper. Him, and we made him look world class at St James's Park. Didn't really do too much away. But Julian Brandt, I think we said before the game last week, he was their bright spark, their best player, and he absolutely ran riot. He, at times, looked like he was playing in the park with his mates against players that were 2 years younger than him at school. That's what it felt like at times watching him play. He is a difference maker. I've actually managed to catch some of the Mönchengladbach game today, and
he's their best
basically, yeah, without him, they were stuffed. Fulkrug got a goal and assist. Brandt only got an assist for the first goal, but just he was the one that he was the one that got the game taken by the scruff of the neck. So they were 2-0 down, Dortmund. They won 4-2. He did get booked as well. So in terms of like a fantasy perspective, he actually would have had you probably wouldn't have wanted him in a fantasy team for today's game, but you can't really base it just off points. You're looking at overall performance, see if they can get you future points. And today's performance again just shows me that he is their most important player. Gittins on the left got a goal and an assist as well, just in case anyone cares. Would you go for any Milan players then? Bear in mind they've got these 3 injuries and then Newcastle away in the last game.
I mean, the fact that Leao is potentially out is probably out, but we know what Champions League and injury news is like this season.
Lies everywhere.
But Leao is just a player of the match magnet. He does anything, like he touches the ball and they're like, give him the player of the match.
Yeah, they worship he missed like 9 chances or player of the match.
Yeah, and not any of the defenders who kept the clean sheet.
Yeah, crazy.
But yeah, like the fact that he's not playing, I think, is massive. Obviously, we'll see what the final result is of the Milan match. But I think that we've literally just got to see what the team news, what the injury news is like in the run up to the match. If Teo Hernandez is the penalty taker, his appeal goes up. But then again, it's like it's the thing with the group of death, isn't it? I would out of all the teams in the group of death, I would be targeting Paris Saint-Germain because of the game against us. But Dortmund, the fact that they're away to an injury like ridden,
Ravaged team.
yeah, and then they're at home against Paris Saint-Germain, which Paris Saint-Germain are not great away.
Yeah.
I think Dortmund are potentially the team to target out of all of them, which is what a turn of events. But we know what Dortmund do, though.
Oh, they'll get you in.
They're like, the stage is set. And then they're like, you know what? Second place isn't bad.
Yeah, I get it. To be fair, they did me well, that double defense in the round of 16 against Chelsea last year, which is like a little bit of a cult moment. I might get them in. What's the score going to be for this game then?
I see Dortmund winning 2-1.
So he's just said, get Dortmund defenders in because Milan are going to score. Typical grading. I'm going to go 1-0 Dortmund.
Isn't that what I'm not calling myself a football pundit by any
You
means,
are a pundit, Aaron.
but that's what pundits do.
Yeah. Such a Martin Keown.
I know. Last one for the Tuesday, Young Boys and Red Star.
Plazenia. Elias for Young Boys. There you go. Elias? Elia? Begins with an E and he's cheap and he plays for Young Boys. Him up top. Plazenia. Next game.
Man City, Leipzig. I think the biggest question is, do we keep Haaland? I would say yes. I think he'll play.
100% keep Haaland. He's mint. I'm still thinking about getting him in. It's hard because I just don't think he plays in the last game. I think he plays this game 100%.
I just think he plays every game, to be honest.
But last season he got dropped for Matchday 6. Julian Alvarez played up top on his own.
That was when Alvarez wasn't a consistent starter.
That is also true.
De Bruyne comes back next week in training.
But exactly. So I still think you might want De Bruyne in there. You might want, is it Nunez? They've got Matthias Nunez. Is that who they bought?
I think out of all the Man City players, sorry to cut you off, is Rico Lewis to get in.
Because he'll play. Well, I think John Stones like Gvardiol because they didn't play this weekend.
But Rico Lewis, he's played 3 full 90s in the Champions League. And he got player of the match in one of them and he scored in the other. So 4.6 defender. I think his price is going to rise. I think he's the one to get.
I think that's a good shout, especially for the last game.
I just think, especially with Man City's like fixtures coming up, like, so obviously they played Liverpool, but they've got Tottenham at home next week.
Yes.
Then
Villa.
Yeah, Villa midweek. Then away to Luton, which is that's not nothing to worry about. But I think it's just being at home to Tottenham like this next week is going to be massive. And so I think that the team that started against Liverpool today, barring any injuries, is going to be the team that starts against Tottenham. And so I think they're literally going to do the full like rotation where they can. John Stones playing, Gvardiol playing, but I do think Lewis will play because he seems to be the Champions League. He's played most of the minutes of the Champions League so far, and he's done really well.
Yeah, good shout. For Leipzig, so I've been advised to take out Raum.
Yeah, I need to take out Henriks.
Yes. At the same time, though, who they got Matchday 6? It's going to be one of the two dreadful teams.
Young Boys.
So
at home.
They've got Young Boys and they're in Germany. So it feels like a very 1 week move. If you've got nothing else to do, then I think putting Enrico Lewis in for one of those two, putting in one of the Dortmund defenders we've talked about, putting in a Lazio defender that we've talked about in for Raum could be okay. But because they play on the Tuesday, I'm kind of half thinking, well, just play him. And when you get to 1 pointer or whatever, I can just take him out.
They are cheap enough, but the issue is that you just don't expect clean sheets from them anymore. I think a lot, like I've got the goalkeeper, and it's really annoying. They lost to Wolfsburg today 2-1.
Who got the goal for Leipzig? I didn't see that.
Paulson.
Oh, he's not who you want to be scoring.
So
Pender with the assist. I've just had a look there. Pender with the assist.
yeah, it's not great.
Now,
But
Man
in
City,
terms of 2 transfers, a lot of people probably have Xavi Simmons. Probably keep him.
for the next game, that's the thing. It's all about the next game because young boys will want to. They'll definitely want to finish second, and I think it might all depend on what happens for this particular game. Like, how's that group looking? I don't suppose you've got it up in front of you in terms of
Yeah. So Man City are top with 12, Leipzig second with 9, and the other 2 are on 1 point. So
they're
this
through
is
anyway.
both of them are through. So this is the battle for first place.
In that case, you know what? I think Leipzig players are less important because if they're already through, they can rotate. If they win this, it's totally different. If they lose this and then all they've got second, you just surely they rotate against the weak team at the end, like it matters because they're both through, and then nothing would be able to change.
Yeah. They do have Dortmund the 2 days before the Matchday 6 as well.
Yeah, I think that that's frustrating. That is very frustrating. Obviously, Simmons got some goals, which is nice. I might keep him in, but I think Raum has to come out.
Yeah, I would say so as well. So in terms of that match, I think it's kind of just going to be if we were able to get early team news, fantastic. But it is just going to kind of be a Man City, whoever, if you are able to guess correctly who plays, you're probably going to get points from them.
Yeah. They're just so good, aren't they? Like the battered Liverpool today, like it wasn't a 1-1 game.
No. So with that,
Score?
and then because I'm bringing in Rico Lewis, I'm going to say 2-0 Man City.
Yeah. 3-1.
So you're going to have them concede.
Yeah, but I don't think I'll bring in Rico Lewis. I think I'll bring in a Lazio defender and a Dortmund defender.
Fair. Going on to the Wednesday matches now, we'll try and do these a little bit quicker because they're harder to predict. We'll start with the early kickoff. Galatasaray, Man United.
Galatasaray got to be favourites being at home, and Man United aren't particularly great.
Well, this group's pretty much... Well, Bayern Munich are through. They're top. They're the only team to have both completely tied up already. So it's a battle for second and third now between Copenhagen, Galatasaray, and Man United, with Man United being bottom on 3 points, the other 2 having 4 points.
Less points in this group than Newcastle have in the group of death.
Madness. But in Ten Hag we trust. It was Ronaldo's fault.
Prove to me you can score goals.
So, yeah, Galatasaray are the favourites. Man United, obviously, they play tomorrow. So at the time of recording, so against away to Everton.
That horrible fixture. That Everton are going to be bang at that game after the 10-point deduction. Like
so
they're going to
away
be
to Everton, and then away in Turkey, and then away to Newcastle. That
horrible,
rough.
But buzzing for us because we'll destroy them. I hope it's in James's. After flying,
we'll destroy them. I hope.
Yes, I realise this could be soundbite at any moment. I've done this before. Yeah, I don't fancy Man United's chances in any of those 3 games. I don't think they're a particularly good away team. If you were to have one, Bruno Fernandes, he's on pens. What a shock! What a mind-boggling assertion. Pick Bruno Fernandes. He's not worth the money though.
No. Galatasaray, obviously, it's the favourites. Like Icardi scored 2 against them. No, he scored 1 and he missed a pen.
Yeah,
he had the opportunity to score 2. But he sat Onana down with that chip.
I really like Icardi. Like he's a horrible person in real life.
He's not a good role model.
No, he's not. He's a he's a terrible friend. However, justice for Maxi Lopez, but he's a good player.
He's annoyingly a very good player.
I actually really like watching him play. He's got that swagger, and I think he's surrounded by some good players as well. Aktakoglu at 6 and a bit million, I think, is a great pick. Zaha's doing well for them. I don't think they had a good result this weekend, though, if I remember rightly off the top of my head. I think they played last night.
Well, they won 4-0, which
Oh,
isn't a good result.
Terrible result for them. Only the 4.
Icardi, Mertens scored twice, and Zaha
I must have been thinking of the result last week or
had
midweek or something.
27 shots.
I was thinking of a different result, Aaron. I need to justify what I've just said by finding the result that I was talking about. Unless I just caught it at the beginning and thought it was the end or something. What have I done? This is one of
It's
yours.
like-
This is you and Porto. Terrible. Worst start of the league in 20 years. They've only won every game.
Only conceding 1.
Right, Galatasaray.
They've pretty much got their full strength starting 11. Ziyech is probably the only one you would say, and Angelino are the only ones you'd probably say are not the start.
It was the previous game week that got beat 2-1.
Okay.
And Zaha scored. But yeah, they got beat 2. That was the game week I was thinking of. I didn't see the scoreline from yesterday, so I still had the previous games in my head. Forgive me, internet.
So,
But
are you bringing any of them in?
They are definitely a radar team if I want to be changing around any of my midfield, and I can't. I think obviously we'll talk about Saka later, who's probably a really good pick for this week. But if you can't get to him, because lots of people have Bellingham, and I don't know how fit Bellingham is. Is he going to be risked? And is Napoli at? I mean, of course, is Napoli at home the best fixture in the world? He ruined them in the last game, but you'd fancy them to. They're an Italian team. They're going to run into his shoulder a lot. So is he going? Even if he starts, he's going to come off.
Is
All
that
these
just
sorts
because
of
of height or just dirty tactics?
It's dirty tactics. Stick a nut on him, right in his shoulder. So yeah, I think they'll be a bit naughty with him. You have to be. So that's a concern. I think if you like I say, if you've got likes of Xavi Simons and know the firepower, but you can't get up to Saka, I think Zaha and Aktakoglu are 2 outstanding picks, and Zaha's the one that I really, really want.
Do you really want?
Yes.
Okay.
I really, 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 really want Wilfred
So
Zaha.
the other game, which is going to be a rotation nightmare, that's going to leave us all on the edge of our seats. There's going to be some random lineups on Twitter somewhere, and we're all going to panic. How much are Bayern Munich going to rotate? They do not have to.
He's not dropping Harry Kane. Just not going to happen.
Yeah, they won 1-0. I think the rotation that'll happen, I don't think it'll be so much as the starting 11. I think it'll be early subs.
Yes.
So I think so at the moment I've got 3 Bayern Munich players. I've got Kane, Sane, and Kimmich. I'll probably keep Kimmich and Kane. Sane is the one on the chopping block, I think, for me, where I could go to Saka as a result. But you've got Gnabry on the bench who didn't come on at all. He actually didn't make any subs in the last game.
Wild.
So Gnabry didn't play any. Davies didn't play any. Muller didn't play. You've got Tell, who's a great player.
Yeah, very good player.
Muller. So yeah, there's a good few players there who I think Gnabry's in line potentially starting.
It's frightening because I do think I actually think that he'll make loads of changes across that 3. I think Tell or Muller could start, and then I think Gnabry starts ahead of Coleman or Sane.
And then Kane gets subbed off for Muller at some point.
Yeah, like because Tell can play up. He plays up front, but he can play behind Kane, and he can play off the left, I think. So, but like I said, Gnabry's got to play. It was is Musiala fit again now?
Yeah, he wasn't on the bench.
But yeah,
Choupo-Moting played as the number 10.
Yeah, I saw that. Not very well.
I don't know about how well, but
so he's yeah, my confidence in Sané playing isn't great at the minute, but yeah, I definitely think he is subbed off after 60 minutes for 9 million worth of midfielder. You're probably going to want Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, yeah. Like Arsenal have to win their game. Bayern Munich, they don't really. Obviously, they'll want to impress at home, and they've still got that ridiculous stat where they've not lost a group stage match in however many seasons now.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to win. It's just
And this is a game actually where I've sort of said don't pick Bayern defenders under any circumstances, but actually I think you can go for one of the centre backs now that Neuer's back. I think that I think probably Kim Min Jae is the safe bet, and I don't think he's going to rotate centre backs.
no.
So I think if you're looking for a clean sheet, Copenhagen with Neuer back in goal, the rat home, I think that's a good a bet as any, especially if you're looking for a Wednesday player.
Scoreline.
I think it'll just be like another 2-0.
Yeah, Bayern Munich haven't been as free flowing in the Champions League. I think that a lot
Or
of
the league. I mean, to be fair, they have scored quite a few, but it's just Harry Kane, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think we've all kind of underestimated, including them teams, underestimated how good Galatasaray and Copenhagen are going to be. And so it could be a really interesting match day 6 with all three of them teams, regardless of these results. But Bayern Munich, they don't really care. They probably just don't want to lose that record of losing. Especially with Man United having to play Bayern Munich in the last match day. Thing of beauty. So I don't know if I gave my prediction there.
You did.
So on the next early fixture, Sevilla and PSV. Sevilla at home. Sevilla also, according to the odds on, they play tomorrow against Real Sociedad. It is really interesting how leagues where they put their fixtures, isn't it?
But insane. Why not make that an evening fixture tonight?
To help out both teams.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But Sevilla, I guess, there's not many injury concerns that I'm aware of. But they drew 1-1 at Real Betis before the international break, lost to Arsenal 2-0, and then drew 1-1 with Celta Vigo. So they're not in fantastic form.
Nah, they're a hard avoid. I wouldn't go for a single one of them.
PSV, what's your thoughts on them?
Won again today.
Because we had them potentially going through with Arsenal when we first saw the group.
Yeah, and I think they'll win this game as well. I don't think they're going to do it, by any great measure or anything. Sadly, again, obviously I had him in. His last 2 scores, I think, have been pretty okay. He obviously got a 9-pointer for match day 4, and I think for match day 3, he got an assist or something like that. Let me have a little look. Oh, no, he's got a 1-4-3-9. So yeah, I think he had a goal, an assist disallowed or something like that. But I can see them performing better in this game now, just purely because I think Sevilla are performing worse. I think they're dropping off a little. It's obviously a lot of it's going to boil down to the last game. But if Arsenal are already through by then, and Arsenal aren't as good away as they are at home, so I'd still probably back them to just pip. No. But that's being said, I can't. I think this game is probably going to be, just to jump into predictions, I think it's going to be 2-1 PSV. There's not too much to talk about beyond the players that we've spoke about historically, like Luke de Jong and Veerman and that sort of stuff. The problem is you don't bring any of these players in. Like, these aren't good players to bring in from either team, which is why I kind of just think it's not overly worth talking about, when we've just said some really good picks from other teams to go through that are budget, some that are premium. I'm even considering selling Luke de Jong. That says everything.
Yeah. The other game, Arsenal won. I do think that Arsenal, well, they won 1-0 today away at Brentford, which is always a tough game.
That's a good result. That Brentford are a really good home team.
Took a last minute Havertz winner. So, and that's a clean sheet as well. So I think that's really good. They have beaten Sevilla in both games there. They hadn't done too great. Kind of, obviously, there's all the controversy when they faced us, but they lost to West Ham as well, 3-1. So they're probably just looking to get back to their
Winning
groove.
ways.
And but of all their matches, they were missing Odegaard. So now that he's back, I guess they can go back to a little bit more control on the ball. Saka had a little bit more of a rest as well. So he is obviously, we highlighted him for this game back in like match day 2 when they were playing Lon the first time. So Martinelli, unfortunately, is listed as a forward, so I don't think he's an option.
No.
I think it's the same with Gabriel Jesus. He came off today, I don't know if that's an injury or anything like that.
It was rested for midweek.
But in Nketiah, we probably don't go there either.
Yeah,
So
stay away from those Arsenal forwards in the game.
And I would even Odegaard, I probably wouldn't go.
No,
I think Saka has a higher ceiling.
Saka at home is just a different breed. So I think Saka at home is a really good captaincy pick if you want to come away from Harry Kane for Wednesday night captains. I think he's got a really high ceiling. They need to win. He's obviously an outstanding footballer. I think if you want to go elsewhere for Arsenal, you pick Saliba or Raya.
Because I picked Saliba for my match day 2 and it didn't go well.
Yeah, but we're playing away, and I think they're going to do better at home. Arsenal do better at home in general.
Yeah. I'm going to guess 1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0. 2-0 to Arsenal.
And then we're almost there. So we touched a little bit on it before. Real Madrid, Napoli. Real Madrid, Napoli won. Osimhen is back. He got the assist, but he's still not. He didn't start.
Elmas that got the winner.
Yeah. He didn't start the game. Real Madrid play tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. We don't know Bellingham's fitness. We just kind of need to see what this squad looks like tomorrow.
Vinicius Junior's out for months, though.
Yep. So he's one of my transfers this week, even though I just brought him in. I think Vinicius to Mbappe was one of my transfers, is what I was looking at.
Yeah, good transfer that, I think.
Because Mbappe has to play both match days.
Yeah.
Whereas Haaland does not.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't know too much about Real Madrid other than that. Napoli, obviously it's really, really good that Osimhen's back, but Kvaratskhelia was also on the score sheet. You brought him in. Are you going to keep him in? I think you have to.
I think I have to. He's playing really well.
He's back. He looks back to himself.
Yeah. Obviously, Real Madrid away isn't the easiest fixture, but if they've got no Jude Bellingham and no Vinicius Junior, their chances just increase enormously of getting something. Even just how positive they'll feel going into the game. Di Lorenzo got the assist for Kvaratskhelia goal as well, didn't he?
What a player!
What a lad!
And
robbed of an assist in the last game as well, by the way. It was never a foul. Probably was, but not when he's in my team.
And then in terms of prediction for this match, I honestly don't have much information on Real Madrid, so I don't know if you
I have no idea. I'm just going to say 1-1 to remain neutral and placid.
The good news about Real Madrid is that Carlo Ancelotti, new guy, Ancelotti.
It's just Ancelotti with glasses and a fake mustache.
The giveaway is still the eyebrows. But he's never hid stuff in his press conferences. He'll pretty much say who the starting 11 will be.
He didn't do it last week. It was really annoying, but historically, he gives these teams 3 days early. He goes, oh, that's the team. But he didn't last week. It was the week before, the last match day. Yeah, and he wouldn't do it.
So, in terms of keeping Bellingham, I think you still just keep him.
everyone's in the same boat, so keep them and pray.
And then they're going to play on the Tuesday, the next match day, and you're likely going to have to bring them back in when it gets to the knockouts. So I'd say just keep them. Braga, Union Berlin.
What a terrible game.
I think Braga win this.
Well, to be fair, Union Berlin got a draw today. New manager. I think it's one of those where we'll have to treat it like fairly seriously in a sense that we're not entirely sure what this new Union Berlin team like is going to feel, how they're going to perform. Braga also absolutely smashed it today, though.
In the cup.
Yeah, I don't know who they were playing, but I think that probably says it all, really. If you were going for someone, again, I'm not sure that I would, but it's the same two players we've talked about from day dot. It's Bruma and Ricardo Horta. Not that Horta's really done much in the last few games, but
I feel like if you did bring them in, knowing that they've got to play Real Madrid and Napoli in the next match, it's just a match day 5 only.
Yeah, it's just Napoli, isn't it?
No, I meant like these two teams.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
if you
I
bring
agree.
anyone from this,
Yeah. I wouldn't bring them in because of what Napoli. Like you're bang on Napoli
and
next week,
it's a Wednesday fixture that you bring these in for. So you might be bringing them in and they might not play.
Yeah, I think if you've got them, keep them. If you've got Bruma or Horta, keep them. If you've got Gorsons, I'd sell them. Get someone else in.
Yeah. So Real Sociedad, Salzburg, and then Benfica, Inter. That's the last group.
We're nearly there.
Sociedad, Salzburg. We'll start with them. Sociedad, top of the group, already qualified. They just need to secure top place because obviously Inter have also qualified, I think.
Yeah. Both on the same amount of points. Is that right? Yeah.
Well, no, I think Sociedad are 1 point ahead.
No,
they're both on 10.
Both on 10.
Inter have done it by just fielding whoever they want.
Yeah. Simeone and Zaghi is a joke.
Like, we were looking at this group going, oh yeah, get into assets. And Zaghi was looking at this group going, I can rest people. Like,
yeah, it's annoying.
And the fact that they've got to play each other next match day.
Yes, I think you hold for this week because I can see Sociedad just doing Salzburg fairly comfortably. And then you're getting rid of them probably for that last game. That'd be a competitive game. Do you reckon Inzaghi's going to play a full strength team, or do you just think he just doesn't give a shit? Because he cares about Serie A. That's what he wants to win.
Yeah. So he plays tomorrow against Juventus. So, and then he plays the next week against Napoli. So there will be lots of rotation in this match.
For this match, yeah.
Yeah. And then he has Lazio, the one after Sociedad. So it's in Italy as well. Like, I think it's just as long as the job gets done, to be honest. Like, the top of the table, this is the top two against each other tomorrow. So that's going to be a better indicator.
Yeah.
I think the best people to go for, we often say the wing backs, but I've got Bastoni on my team, and the amount of ball recoveries that one of the centre backs always has a really high ball recovery day. And so in the day that they didn't keep the clean sheet, I think it was De Vrij had an unbelievable game. And the other two were kind of just, hey, you do the work today.
Yeah.
So I've got Bastoni and Sommer. I'm probably just going to keep them because I've got other fires to put out and other players I want.
Yeah, I think they're two good. I think they're the two best players to have because you just know they're going to play. I mean, Martinez was rested. Thuram will probably be rested. He's been rested before. He's rested DeMarco. He's rested Dumfries. You've got no idea what's going on with any of them. I think they're hard. Just leave them alone. Again, other than Sommer and Bastoni.
And then obviously
Benfica
and I mean,
they're out. They're not doing anything. The bottom of the group,
are too expensive.
The players are very expensive. Leave them alone.
I think the biggest questions is obviously rotation, but I think Sociedad won't rest their players. But obviously, both of these games, Sociedad and Inter play tomorrow. So that's going to be your best indicator in terms of
Who's gonna play?
we're literally just guessing. So we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
recommend a player, and then they get injured tomorrow. So let's just keep our mouth shut.
Yep.
And
Bastoni's going to absolutely smash it in the Champions. He's going to smash it on Wednesday. Bastoni assist, 12 ball recoveries, clean sheet.
How mental would you go if, for some weird turn of events, Sommer just took a penalty tomorrow? Like,
I don't think I'll be able to contain myself.
I think people would lose that. Like,
Be worth a
or
hit.
just someone even more obscure, Bastoni
Yeah.
or Darmian. Oh, people would lose their
But
minds
while
over Darmian.
Canaloglu's at that club, no one's getting a sniff at a pen.
No. But I think we're going into the crazy land. But in terms of transfers, you've played both your chips.
Yeah.
And I've still got my limitless. I am not going to play it this match day. So my transfers, I'm looking to bring in obviously Vinicius Jr. out to Mbappe, which I can afford to do just straight swap. And then from there, I would like to do Sane to Saka, but I would be short. I have Azpilicueta there just chilling, and he hasn't been playing for Atletico Madrid.
Terrible.
So what I could do is Atletico Madrid, Azpilicueta to Lewis, or even someone else to Lewis, like Cancelo potentially, which would then I would maybe take a -4 for Saka.
Yeah. I don't think a -4 is a bad idea this week.
With premiums, I think the -4 isn't too bad. I don't know.
Yeah. I think -4 is all right. My problem is I want to do another -8, mate. Actually, I think I actually, looking at this, want to do a -12.
I think you should.
I want De Jong out. I want Simmons out. I want Bellingham out. I want Sané out. I want Raum out. I want Koundé out. I'll keep Bellingham in. That's still De Jong, Simmons, Sané, Koundé, Raum. I want all of them gone.
Do it.
I am not. I will at most take a -4. And it will be to bring it. I'll be bringing in a Tuesday captain. It'll be an Mbappe, or I'll be bringing in Mbappe or Haaland for Luke De Jong. I'll be taking out probably Raum. Oh no, I'll take out Koundé for Lazio Dortmund defender, and then we'll see if I can take a -4 to maybe get rid of Raum, and I'll just have to chance me on with Simmons and Sané and all that lot. I think we'll have to see. But I'm not taking another -16. Or am I?
It's that last hour before the deadline when everything just goes mental.
Yeah. Yes. Well, obviously, we'll get to see the team lineups. The Lazio's team will tell me a lot about whether I'm going to go for one of their defenders. I think they're right for the last couple of games. Thank you so much if you've put up with us for this long. Obviously, we've just put it all on one podcast for this time, trying to just get them done quickly. I don't know how long that lasted for, but
Just over an hour.
Oh, that's all right. That's not too bad for you, is it? Nice listening. Please don't forget to follow Gallagher Shots if you're in any Newcastle-based content. Hopefully you are. Please don't forget to follow us on Twitter. We are at UCL Fantasy Pod. We're available not only on YouTube if you're looking at our ugly mugs, but also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all the places where you can listen to podcasts. Best of luck for the next match day. We certainly need it. In fact, if you could have less luck and just pass it on to us, that'd be greatly appreciated. And we will see you for the next one. Bye now.